Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome back to another episode of our Let's Play for Football Manager 2022 as we continue, or I should say, begin our next season of Journeyman Glory Hunter with, this is our 9th season. We're going to do the season review for last season. Excellent season with Newcastle. And we're going to get into the transfer special for this next season. I'll keep my eye on the job market. Probably not going to get another job unless a really, really good opportunity comes up. But expect a really exciting season with Newcastle as we are in, hopefully, the Euros, if I understand the rules properly. We'll get into that as well. Let's get into the episode. All right, end of season review for the 28-29 season. Such a good season. Oh, I'm ecstatic how it ended up. Here are the new arrivals. Kumbola, B-, not bad. Isak, B-. Singo, B-, Daviv, A-, Iglesias, B-, Bello, B. I mean, just about everybody has been an excellent pickup. Lara, C+. He hasn't quite done what maybe we hoped for him, but we have a mandatory future fee for him, which is fine. I think he's going to be a really good long-term striker for us. We're going to play him probably as a starter alongside Isak this next year. That's the plan, I think. We'll see. We got Luis, B-, Conde, C+, really only a C+. I guess they want his wage was a little bit high, but honestly, he played well. 45 appearances. It doesn't say clean sheets here, which is interesting. But anyway, Levi, C+, okay. Baldwin, B-, interesting. Morales, A+, really? They really liked this one. And then Trotta, B-. Again, we got to get him out here. Transfers out, how do we look? Mike, they didn't like that transfer out, but come on, we got better goalkeepers in, I think. Romero, C. Junio, C+. Niles, C. None of these are, like, great. I really didn't like a lot of these. D for Aronson. Wow. A loss. I mean, I get it, but I don't think we would have gotten much more for him had we waited. So, not a lot of good luck there. As far as the loans, a couple of guys looked like they did okay. We'll see what they look like in the end. Season to remember. Absolutely. We were as high as 5th place at one point. We ended up 6th, but within striking distance of 5th and 4th, and technically striking distance of 3rd. We were not far off of this next group. We were not close to Arsenal and Man United, but we're definitely in this next group, which is pretty exciting. Expectation was top half. I think we overachieved there. B- overall. And it does say they will qualify for the Euro Cup here. So I think it just hasn't fully updated because of the FA Cup thing. We did make it to the semifinals. Big deal there. I'm surprised it's only a C+ because they want us to reach quarterfinals and we actually overachieved. And then, of course, Carabao Cup. They did not care about and we lost unexplainably in that one, to be fair. Anything else? No. I mean, that was good. Good stuff. Moments to remember. Biggest win against Tottenham. Yeah, that end of the season. We just put a big old exclamation mark on this season. 5-0 stomping against Tottenham. Match to remember was against Bournemouth, 4-0 here. And then the goal of the season in a 4-goal stomping of Burnley. Looks like it was an Iglesias 89th minute strike. We'll go check out these goals. We'll check out all 4 of these. Why not? I mean, obviously, they're all going to be good goals because we dominated. It's just Carabao Cup. This was actually early in the season. There's Hernandez to Memphis. Back to Hernandez, over to Vieira. Oh, yeah. That was a good, strong strike right there. Good start. There's Vieira, back to Iglesias. All 4 of these are different players, I think, right? Yeah. Isak, over to Memphis. Kluivert. Oh, here we go. Not bad. Not bad. Keep that up, guys. This next season, just keep doing that. Hernandez to Memphis. Iglesias. Back to Hernandez. There's Memphis. Just going to go for it, right? Yeah, he just gets powers through the defense there. The defense was trying to put some pressure on him. He just powers through him. Singo on the right. Gets it over to Kluivert. Almost gets tripped up. Singo back over to Iglesias. He's going to get it from right there. Yep. We had a lot of good goals. I'll give you those. I mean, those are some good goals right there, especially that Iglesias one. All right. Let's see here. The finances. Nothing changed with reputation. We did get 2 new deals for $108 million a year. Sponsorships has gone up. That's good. That helps. Broadcast revenue went down a little bit. I think it's just because we didn't make it as far in some of the things, or maybe we just weren't as exciting early on. Corporate hospitality a little bit lower. Competition prize money a little bit higher. And then match day commercial retail a little bit lower. But overall, the sponsorships makes up for anything else that was lost. Total merchandise sales, it looks like Vieira was number 1, really. Isak, Baldwin, Iglesias, and Kluivert. Kluivert, really interesting how we lined up. This is what it says we lined up as. Obviously, we ended up in the 4-2-4, and I think that's going to be our better formation going forward. But there you go. Isak, Baldwin, Lamptey, Ndidi, Vieira, Luis, Hernandez, Daviv, Kumbula, Singo, and Conde. Pretty decent team. Fan player of the season was Vieira. I like it. Young player of the season was Luis. Okay. Not sure. I get it. Yeah, that's fine. I'm surprised Isak didn't get up there. Oh no, Isak wasn't a young player. Who was I thinking of? Maybe like Conde could have been up there. Signing of the season was Isak. Good stuff. Goal of the season was Iglesias. We saw that. Isak, 29 years old. We should still get a couple more years out of him. Although again, I don't think I'm going to be here for a couple more years. Only 19 goals, but he started to pick it up in that second half of the season. So I'm hoping we can pass the 20-goal mark next year. Vieira, most assists, 23 assists. I think he had most assists in the league. We'll check that here in a minute. Most player of the match awards was Vieira. Average rating was Vieira. And most passes was Ndidi. Record breakers, most assists, Vieira, 23 was the record. Most player of the match awards, again, Vieira. Highest transfer fee paid was Iglesias. I mean, he did get goal of the season, though. I mean, I guess we got something for him. We'll see if that ends up being worth it or not. And then highest transfer fee received was Aaron's. Right there. Competition, nothing there. All right. Well, there we go. Here is the overall best 11 to pay got into the best 11. And is that it? Is he the only one? Well, we just need some more time with some of the other guys. Vieira's already in there. St. Maximin is in there. We've seen him before, obviously. Ndidi, we've obviously another guy. He's in there. Hernandez is in there. Lacroix's in there. So there's some good guys that we've played with that are in the top 11. But the only new player is Memphis Depay on the substitute spot. And we don't care about the best 11 from whenever ago because we weren't here for that. Or I guess the best 11, whatever. Anyway, Club Vision, we'll check that here in a second. Season performance analysis. Team attacking, pretty much good, overwhelmingly good in just about every spot except for pass completion ratio. Something for us to maybe look at. Team defending, really good in chance per game, really good on interceptions, really good on tackles. Probably need to work on concessions here. And I agree with that, so that's fair. We have a very high analysis rating. Long range shots, scoring. We're up here with the big boys. High scoring, high quality shooting. And then defending. Just need to work on the defending. We get the defending in a good spot. We get defending even in one of these yellow ones a little bit more strongly, or obviously in the green. I think we're making a huge move up we're going to move up a couple spots in the league. Club Vision. Obviously develop players, play direct. I don't like the play direct. I might move that off. High tempo pressing might be okay. Work within wage budget's fine. Minimum 4 years is fine. Top half is okay. Euro 2s, that's whatever. We're going to hopefully overachieve that. But we developed the best youth system in the country. That's impressive that they want that. I'm going to negotiate this because I just want to move off the direct football thing. I would like to remove you off. I'm okay with high tempo pressing. They really want the... I'm not going to be playing direct football. I mean, we'll stick it in there, but it's not going to happen, guys. I'm sorry. Hopefully they're okay with the other results because I don't expect that to happen. Still don't quite have the managerial support. They're not happy with how I've been treating Lamptey, who started playing better, thankfully. But I mean, the dressing room atmosphere is great, is getting really good. They're just not super convinced with me, unfortunately. And I wish it was better. Discuss plans for next season. I want to qualify for Euros next season, and I think they agree. That's good. I think we should get to the finals. Really? Oh, wait. Oh, I misread that. I thought the one on the left was the get further. I misread that. That was my bad. That's aiming higher. That's fine. I'm sorry, guys. My mistake. I misread it. We'll discuss promises later. Have a good break. Okay. Could have been a little bit better. I was not reading things clearly, obviously. I'm concerned about the arrow reach of the goalkeepers. Currently spending 54K over wage budget, which just happened at the very end there, so I'm not too worried about that. That's because we negotiated some contracts with people. Good quality of depth outside the first team amongst players currently at the club. We'll work on that. And better depth would be useful in goal. We'll take a look at that. Central midfield. We have another central midfielder coming in. That'll give us more depth. We'll make a decision about Morales. Yeah, not much else that I'm gonna look at right now. Anything else? I think that's it. Do we want to go to China, USA, or Singapore? I guess we'll go to China. Why not? We went to USA last year. All right. Well, we'll be back when there's news, guys. Yeah. Expect maybe minimal transfers on the quantity, but hopefully maybe we'll get like one or two like really big players and that's just it. Like we will just leave the rest alone. Maybe even just one. We just get one incredibly good player somewhere and maybe a couple of just decent depth guys or something like that. We'll see. We'll look at it and you guys will know when I know. All right, as expected, as soon as the FA Cup finished, we did in fact qualify for the Euro Cup proper. So that is good to see. Looks like some of the information we were getting from like some of the comments were assuming we were in the Euro Cup. So I think it was already a done deal. Like I said, it didn't matter who won, but it's just the game hadn't quite like checked that box yet. As far as FA Cup, who actually won? Man City actually won. So we lost to the ultimate winners of the FA Cup. Wow. All right, fair enough. How did their last game go? How did they do against? Only beat them by 1-0. That was it. Wow. Okay, well there you go, guys. Yeah, they only beat us by 1. We actually scored a goal against them. Man United didn't. Who knows? Maybe Man United didn't care. I don't know how the game kind of calculates. Does Man United care if they already won the league type of thing? I really don't know. But you'd think they'd have a little bit of pride for the FA Cup anyway. But yeah, so Euro Cup propers, we actually got a really good amount of money coming in. We got £215 million in the transfer budget. That's a lot of money to play with. That is like 2 extremely good players or 3 really strong players, something like that. We've got some money to play with. Even if we just sell a few players as well. We only get 35% of the transfer revenue right now because of just how the overall balance looks. But we have some potential to make some really big moves, some really impactful moves. So we'll see what we can do. All right, I'm back. I'm done with the transfers. Maybe not as many moves as last season, but some pretty big moves, I would say, overall. A lot of money changing hands, and I think the team's better, but it's hard to say. It really, really is. Today is the first 2 games of the, or first game, I should say, of the 9th season here, right? So we're 9 seasons in. We've got to start getting something done here. And this team could definitely, I think, win the Euros and make a name for ourselves in the league itself. But let's get ahead and get into the transfers. Yeah, I started pretty much as soon as I could. So we're going to go ahead and look at the ones from last season, the end of last season, and then we'll get into the ones for this season as well. So here we are. Yeah, so let's start with the outs because there's a few key ones over here. Cade Gordon goes out for 37.5 mil. He was we didn't use him a lot. He was actually relatively useful for when he did come in. He was on a 6.93 rating. Actually, we used him more than I thought we did. We used him for 25 appearances. He had 4 goals. But he kind of wanted to go, if I remember right, and we were able to almost double our money that we had originally paid for him a couple seasons ago. So felt like a decent move. He was definitely further down the list, and I think we were able to get some guys that maybe are slightly better than him, but not that he was bad. He was a good player, but I thought we got a pretty decent deal for him overall. Lucas Hernandez leaves. He did want to leave. We didn't get quite as much money as I would have probably wanted for him, but 33 years old and we got almost 20 mil. Not too bad overall. He was definitely on my list of guys that were borderline, that were not like in the 7s on the ratings and stuff like that. So we decided to go ahead and let him go. He wanted to go. It is a little bit unfortunate that he goes to an in-league team. We'll see how much that comes back to haunt us. But 19.5 mil. Again, a little bit lower than I might have wanted, but I think it was about approximately good for his value as even with his age and stuff like that considered. Ndidi did want to leave. This was actually, I think, I can't remember if I mentioned this during some of the other episodes, but this was agreed to like several months ago. So he did leave to go to Arsenal. Not great, but he really, really pushed it and really wanted to leave. I think it was because he wanted to go to a Champions team before he retires, probably, which I don't blame him. He's 32 years old. He's probably only got a couple years left. He wants to be in the Champions League. Made sense that he wanted to leave. It's just unfortunate that it was to a rival team. A little bit of a loss for him overall, but again, he has gotten a little bit older. He's played well for us, but again, not much we could do about that one. If we had kept him on, he would have been grumpy, and then that would have hurt the overall team, morale more than it's already been hurt by other reasons. Coming in, though, we have 3 players, and we've paid a stupid amount of money for them. Very, very, very large amount of money. So first comes in Cole Palmer from Hertha Berlin. He comes in as says 3-star. For the record, I did not bring anybody in that my scouts did not say was at least 4 stars. But as soon as they showed up, because Isak is currently rated 4.5 stars, he makes everybody else look worse than they maybe already are. Like, this guy was a very solid 4-star player. He's one of the top midfielders that we could find. He can play the midfield. He can play attacking midfield. He can play the left. He can play right. He can play striker. And again, one of the best out there. Overall, his rating, 7.16, 7.32, 7.32. I mean, he's just been killing it in the Bundesliga. 12 goals last season. What did he actually play? Can we see... where would we see his form? It wouldn't show us what his form would it. This is just what we've played it as. I'm actually not sure what he played as. I'm sure there's a way to see that. If you guys know, then feel free to let me know. But anyway, he comes in here. He's valued at almost 200 mil. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but we did pay, a pretty penny for him. We're paying 76 million overall for him. 76 million up front, going up to 114 million with conditionals. So pretty big purchase for us. I think he might be the biggest. I'm not sure. We'll have to check in here in a second, but he might be the biggest. But again, he was rated 4 stars until he showed up. So we'll see what happens with that. Kudus comes in here. Another guy, similar positions. He can play attacking midfielder in the center. He can play midfielder. He can play on the right. He can play on the left. He's a really solid player. Shown up as a 3.5-star player. Again, another guy that was 4 stars when I was looking at him through scouting. But he comes in here, and he's been on a 7.28, 7.29 the last couple seasons, 7.17 season before that in Holland. So obviously playing for a really good team, playing really, really well, doing some good stuff. So we shall see what he can do for us. I have good hopes for him. He obviously paid a lot of money for him here. I think he might be the biggest upfront cost to us. So 90 million going up to 108 million. Again, not cheap. We then bring in Luca, one of the cheaper guys on here, but probably one of the better guys as well. He comes in here as a striker from Napoli. 4-star, solid 4-star player, 28 years old, Italian. He comes in here last season, 7.31 with 23 goals, 7.08 with 18, 7.16 with 16. So he's definitely putting up as many, if not more goals than Isak. And again, for Italy, but I mean, Italy's not necessarily an easy country. And if I remember right, I don't know if it's still true where we're at in the season or in the progression of the save, but I think historically Italy is pretty good defensively, isn't that? Don't they play a lot of defensive ball? So if somebody's putting up 23 goals in a defensive-minded league, you would think that they're a pretty good striker overall. So he's going to be a good partner alongside Isak. I thought about not doing any at all and just sticking with our other striker, Lara, right? But I couldn't pass up the deal. He came in good. He looked good. The price looked really good, to be perfectly honest. And so I thought he was worth it. So there you go. That was the end of last season. Now this season. Yeah. I mean, we're pretty even on the overall pricing. Where did we end last season? I mean, in 319, out 568. Or sorry, out 568. We paid a lot of money. $500 million in transfers. Oh, goody. Anyway, but we're hanging in there. And this season, a little bit more even mindset since it flipped over to the new season. So we've had a couple loans go out. I did get Andrade to go out on loan. We want to see if we can get him to develop. Robbie Masters goes out on loan. We then sold Saint Maximin to Napoli for 14.5. 32 years old. Didn't think his value was, especially great. I mean, honestly, I thought we got a pretty good bang for our bucks for him. And we had no intention of using him. He went out on loan last season just because we didn't need him and we couldn't get him to sell. And so selling him on, getting a little bit of money for him, in my opinion, well worth it. We then put Marie Luis out on loan, although we might bring this one back. And I'll show you that because we'll look at the depth here in just a sec, but we might get this one back. Esquero goes out, 11 mil. I don't know. This one might have been a mistake. He definitely has some room to develop and could end up being better than an 11 million value. He's already shown 12 to 14 here, but he wanted to leave. Not that I was too worried about him being upset because he's not super high on the list of influential players, but kind of what I was looking at things, I felt like I needed to get a little bit of money back into the budget overall, and just it's not like we have other players we tried to sell just couldn't get sold or couldn't get sold for a price that I thought was reasonable. So we got to sell who we can when we can, and I thought that was okay. Again, I wish I might have could have gotten a little bit higher, but it's okay. Oscar Gomez goes out on loan as well, so both our younger backup goalkeepers go out on loan. We are going to keep Ramiro, our older. I think I can turn my camera back on. Yeah, it just perfectly fits. Ramiro comes back from loan, and he did. A couple clubs came in for him around 18 mil. And maybe I should have sold him, but I really want my youngsters to go out and to get development, and I'm okay with keeping the older guy sitting on the bench, quite frankly. And that's just the way I looked at it. He might not be happy about it, but I'm happy about it. And we'll see if we can get the two goalkeepers to develop a bit. Rafael Luis, this is probably one of the controversial ones. I would have loved to keep Rafael Luis. I really would have. I had no real intention of getting rid of any of our midfielders because they all played exceptionally well. Losing both Ndidi and Luis is a gamble. It's a huge gamble. But he kind of wanted to leave. I think we could have convinced him to stay. But at the end of the day, 60 mil, I mean, it might have been worth a little bit more. And again, I might come back to regret this one big time. To be perfectly honest, I might regret this one big time. But I just... It was like the biggest offer I could get for anybody around. And I still wanted to get... There was like one or two more pieces that I wanted to get. And it just seemed like it was just the only way to do that, unfortunately. So we got rid of him. We still have plenty of depth in the midfield. We'll see. We'll see if that one bites me in the rear end, but hopefully not. Kamar Stoddart goes out back on loan. He's been out on loan before. We then sold Kluivert. I have been wanting to sell Kluivert. He was definitely one of the first ones on my list to sell. His rating wasn't like great last season. I tried to sell him last season, couldn't get anything for him. I think I undersold him, if I had to be perfectly honest. I think his value is closer to that 45 mil mark, but I just couldn't get anybody else to come in. I think it might have been a little bit because of his wage demands. And that's one of the things. England pays players so much money, it is really hard to sell them to other countries because nobody can reach their wage demands. So the only way I could get him to sell without having to like throw a whole bunch of wage demands at him, with him, I should say, was to drop the price a bit. Not super happy about it. Again, we weren't really probably going to use him that much. I think we had plenty of other depth elsewhere. So at the end of the day, getting something for him, I guess, is better than just sitting on the bench doing nothing for us. But I wish I got a little bit more for him, but that's okay. LaCroix goes out. He really wanted to leave. I'm not happy about the fact that it went to Chelsea, but they came in for the best offer. It was the only team that he really wanted to go to. 50 mil. I mean, he's valued 41 to 9.5, if you can believe that. And he definitely sat on the bench quite a bit for us last season. So 50 mil for a player that's been on our bench. A good rotation player, don't get me wrong, but seemed like a good value, especially with some of the other things coming in. We did bring Gutierrez in here. He comes in here as an attacking midfielder, wing back on the left. 70 million up front, could go up to 97 mil. And solid 3-star player. Again, another guy that scouts said 4-star, but once we got him into the club, comparing him to Isak, he's down to 3-star, but that's okay. He's going to be a solid player for us, I think. Should be a good player. He comes in from Borussia Dortmund. 7.2, 7.24, 7.14. I mean, he's been playing well for Borussia Dortmund for quite a while, and I'm pretty happy about that. So, bringing him in, a lot of money, but it seemed like a good move. I went ahead and grabbed Victor Morales. And the reason I grabbed Victor Morales is because I think he will be worth more than what we're paying for him. I think we had the opportunity to pay that agreed upon optional fee for him, and I think he will be worth more than that, a way for the club to recover some of the finances that I've been just throwing out the door, quite frankly. I've been burning their finances like crazy. Their current financial situation is only okay compared to, I think when we started, it was rich or secure or something like that. So I really wanted to, even though I'm not going to be planning on being here at the club when they flip him for a profit, I wanted to, just do the right thing and bring in some players that I really, really felt strongly could develop into a good, profitable player. And I think he's going to be one of them to help offset some of the stuff that we've done. So we went ahead and grabbed him, and that will hopefully help that. There's Lara right there. Again, another player we know can play well. Another player that I think already is going to be worth a profit. So getting him in for the money that we said we would, I think he's going to be a good pickup. Now, we're going to keep him for now because we definitely want to use him for a backup striker role, and I think he's going to serve that role pretty well. We are going to try and loan out Morales. He hasn't yet. Nope. We're trying to loan him out. I think he's on the loan list. I hope he is. Yeah, so he's on the loan list. We're hopefully can get him loaned out as soon as possible to get him some development because we want to make sure he can be worth something. Suchik comes in here on a free. That was the guy I told you guys about sometime last season. And not having to pay anything for him to come in was worth it. We do have to pay him, obviously, a pretty decent wage, although it's not one of the highest wages. He's still worth a lot. We could definitely sell him for a profit pretty quickly, quite frankly. And maybe that's worth doing at some point. But he should be a good, solid backup for us in the midfield. And honestly, it might even be worth striking as a striker. We'll see. But how did he rate last season? I actually didn't look. I mean, not quite sevens, but up there. And again, another player that getting him on a free, and if they could sell him for 40 million, 50 million, whatever, immediate profit. And that helps offset against some of the stuff that is. So I think that was a worthwhile pickup, but we will see. And here's the big one. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Not like I can hide it. I should have just put my hand up there. Oh, that wouldn't work. I'm just kidding. Jadon Sancho. Obviously, the highest profile player we've ever gotten, I would say. Probably, yeah. I would have to say it's pretty safe bet. And let's see here. 114 mil is the max. Yeah, so he ties for the max with Palmer, but it's more up front. Oh, no, sorry. It's less up front. So could be still one of the highest players that we're going to end up paying for. Probably more than he's worth, even though it is Jadon Sancho. And I know Jadon Sancho is incredibly good coming from Man United. Potentially more than he's worth. But he's been on sevens the last few seasons. And I mean, that's sevens in Man United. Now, he's only played 24 games, so he hasn't played the entire season for whatever that means. I'm not sure. But we're bringing in one of Man United's, good players. And if nothing else, bringing in one of Man United's good players to hopefully drops them down a half a notch, a quarter of a notch. I don't know. We'll see. But I wanted, as I was looking at the depth of the squad, I realized that I was short a midfielder, and I don't expect Jadon Sancho to play midfielder, but by pulling him in to play on one of the wings, I can pull like Vieira or Kudus or one of those guys to come back to the midfield because they play that really, really well as well. So he came in to fill a spot so somebody else can rotate in. And obviously, once we actually get into games, anybody can play anywhere that we need them to play. But I wanted to make sure I at least had two players in each position set up. The other reason why Sancho, the reason I was okay with paying a little bit maybe more over value for Sancho, because I think he was valued at like 85, 90 mil, something like that. So we paid a decent chunk over value. The reason I was okay with that is because he is a homegrown in the nation player for England. And we only had two at the time. And so bringing him in was a huge critical deal because we were struggling to put a full team together with only two homegrown in nation players. So he comes in here. I paid a little bit of a premium to bring a homegrown in nation player back to the team. And so that's part of the reason why the money was a little bit higher. Might have wished I'd paid a little bit closer to 90 for him, but to get that homegrown in nation player, it was worth the extra, probably 20 mil, to be perfectly honest, 20, 25 mil, something like that, in my opinion. All right. That's the team. Here's what the squad looks like. Let's pull out the guys that are not here. Actually, we can probably just filter off the under 23s and people that are, yeah, that's probably fine. Okay, so here we go. Here is the squad. Now, again, several of these players can mix and match, but I wanted to at least look at it from the perspective of, okay, let's make sure we at least have two players that can play in each position, but they can obviously mix and match. And this is not necessarily the position all these guys are going to always play in, but I wanted to make sure that we were pretty set. So obviously, like you should see, let me pull up Fahid. I think he's still our best overall current and potential ability player. As you can see, Isak 4.5 stars. He's ruining the curve here. He's making everybody else look bad by comparison. But Isak, Luka as our starting two, with Depay and Lara coming up as backups for those. Looks like Sancho could probably play on the left, maybe as one of his best spots with Badwin over there, or Bodwin or whatever. And Kudus and Palmer maybe on the right, something like that. But again, a lot of these guys can mix and match and move all over the place. Iglesias and Vera with Morales and Suchik. We actually might have to keep Morales, come to think of it. I might have to pull him off the loan list because I just realized he's one of our midfielder backups, and that might be exactly what we need to use him for. Bello and Gutierrez are probably our primaries on the left, with Lemty and Single on the right. Although again, sometimes we might just play Single on the right, Lemty on the left. You never know. With Kumbula and Levi in the central defender role with Devive, and probably gonna have to bring back Marie Luis to play in the central defender role here if we can. Is he an English player? He's not, is he? No, he's French, but he's under 21. Oh no, he's not. We might not be able to play him because of registration, because we are right at our limit. Okay. Well, if somebody gets injured, we might have to return him. We'll figure that out. And then of course Conde, and then Ramiro is going to play as our backup, although he might not be happy about it, but we shall see. So that's our squad, and I'm pretty happy about it. I think it's going to be a good squad. If we look at this, who are like our Kudus comes in here, Sancho comes in here, Palmer. I mean, we got a couple guys, obviously Luka. Not a lot of brand new players that would be starting for us, but a couple impact players I think that are going to be really, really strong for us. And we're staying with the same formation. We'll see how that goes for us. And there's something else I was going to show you guys, but I suddenly can't remember it. I apologize. But we will go look at the overall competition preview. No huge surprise here. Previewed at sixth place, exactly where we're at right now. I think our odds are, I can't remember what our odds were last season. You have to go look at the video yourself, maybe. But we're not far off the odds for Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool in these 3rd, 4th, and 5th spots. So it's possible that, we're in the mix. Now, Arsenal, I think, is going to be better than they're rated here. Man City, we'll see. They were worse than they rated here last year. So those two might be like interchanged. And any of these guys get interchanged, to be perfectly honest. Can we be up there with the Chelsea, Arsenals, Liverpools, Man Cities? Maybe. Can we be up there with Man United? Probably not. But we shall see. Fulham, wow, ranked 7th. That's crazy. The real big thing, though, is for us this season is the league does not matter as much, because I don't expect to be here next season unless somehow we got 2nd place for the season and we're this close. We could almost take over Man United, which I don't expect. I don't expect to be here next season. This season, the whole point is to try to win the Euros. Can this team win the Euros? I think they can, but that is going to be the goal. Does it have a preview? No, there's no sort of preview or anything like that I can see. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Can we actually see team detailed? Does it show us like salaries for teams? We are number 2 on transfer spend. We are number 2. Oh, Man City's still in I forgot about that. Yeah, we talked about that at the end of the last episode, didn't we? Or maybe earlier in this episode. I can't remember. It's been several hours of transfer, and so I can't remember exactly when I talked about it. I mean, we are definitely a league up from a lot of these other teams, but Man City is up there. So we will see if we can make it through the gauntlet. It's not going to be easy. But yeah, if we can win the Euros, I think that makes this whole thing successful. We'll find out. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about the transfers? Some crazy ones. Some pretty high profile players, some pretty good players. But honestly, not a ton. And maybe a couple players that we might not have wanted to lose that we lost, like Luis, for example, but kind of had to make some moves just to make sure the finances worked out. And that's just what it is. We have nothing left in the transfer budget. We're a little bit under wage budget. Still got some money in the bank. Not a lot. And our projections are not great. So that's why I need to sell some players on for profit. I need to set them up with some players that could be sold for profit. So hopefully we haven't completely ruined Newcastle, but we will see. I'm pretty excited about this season. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun last season. I think this team might be a little bit better. I say a little bit better. Luka is going to be extremely good, I think. I think Luka's going to be... Oh, that was what I was going to show you guys. Yes, Luka. Here's the thing about Luka. Luka is a 20 jumping reach, 17 heading. As good as Kumbula is, 18 and 17, Luka's a little bit better because he's 6'7". In fact, he might be too tall. Is that possible? He's going to jump up so high, he's going to knock it into the bleachers every time. I don't know if that's true or not. But we've got two incredibly good headers, people that can head here, so we can move those back and forth. But I thought that was pretty exciting. So bringing him in here, we'll see if we can get some goals from him through the corner kicks. But our first game's up, Everton and Tottenham. Everton, honestly, I think both winnable games. Truth be told, I would kind of expect us to win until Chelsea. Chelsea might be our first test. And even then, since it's a home game, if I was going to be perfectly honest, I'm hopeful with the team we've put together that we don't struggle until we hit Man City. I mean, we probably will struggle before then, but I'm hoping we don't struggle until Man City. So let me know what you think in the comments below. But I do appreciate you guys watching. I hope you're as excited for this 9th season overall as I am. Thank you. May God bless you, and goodbye. I wanted to give a special shout out to our first channel member ever, Telrenar. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.